Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture is titled Moons, Rings, Shadows, Clouds, Saturn, Cassini. So what do we see here? Well, here we see an image taken by the Cassini spacecraft, which orbited Saturn from 2004 through 2017. And this was taken very early on in 2005 by that spacecraft and shows a lot of the properties of the Saturnian system. We see several different things that are labeled here, including the rings, which are seen almost edge on here. So they seem very thin. You can see the rings labeled there down toward the lower left, and then the dark band going up toward the upper right and then looping around is the rings. Now they don't look near as spectacular here as we're used to seeing, because we're used to looking at them more face down, looking down on them where they're reflecting a lot of light. Here we're looking through the plane of the rings, so they're not going to look near as spectacular. However, we can get an idea of what they look like from looking at the shadows. Now, the shadows up toward the top of Saturn, so that is not banding on Saturn, that is actually the shadow of the rings on the planet. So the sun off there, off to the right-hand side, shines towards Saturn and illuminates the rings, but the rings do have a lot of particles there. The denser the particles, the more the particles will then block out light. So the denser the concentration of particles, the more light will be blocked out. So some of those ring shadows will look very dark. That means there are a lot of particles in that region and very little sunlight is getting through. Others will look relatively light. That means a lot of the sunlight is getting through and there are fewer particles, or those are gaps in the rings that are visible here. Now, we also see a couple of the moons, and those are two of the moons, Mimas and Tethys, that are visible here. And those are two of the middle-sized moons of Saturn. Saturn has one large moon, one of the classified large moons in the solar system. That is the large moon Titan. But these are two of the middle-sized moons, so they're not really tiny. Saturn also has a lot of moons that are very tiny, going down to just a kilometer or two in size. These are sort of in between size, much, much smaller than things like our own moon, but not just tiny rocks orbiting. Now, Cassini orbited for over a decade and gave a lot of images, and in fact, data we are still studying to this day and will continue to study for decades in the images that were sent back and the information that was sent back from Saturn. So we will continue to study that material and learn more about the ringed planet through this data, even though the Cassini itself dove into Saturn's atmosphere in 2017 at the end of its mission. So that was our picture of the day, titled Moons, Rings, Shadows, Clouds, Saturn Cassini. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.